Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. The day after the quarterly. Congratulations to Davis Rain for taking it down. Davis got $800 in a prize pool. The total prize pool was $2,000. Brett Paschal came in second, Liz White third, Dennis Turrentine fourth, Durr from our venue finished fifth, Anna Van Norden finished sixth, Jim Old Guy Robinson finished seventh, and then Tracy Storm Krasnov finished in eighth place. Congratulations to all of our final tablists.
Good job. That was super fun watching you guys play yesterday.
It was a record fast too. It was like
record fast. It was 38 minutes for the whole final table. Something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Super want to congratulate you and thank you for more like
for going out really early in the tournament so that I could then be the TD for the tournament the whole time.
And for everybody that knows, normally it's me going out early and she's going in deep, and so it was nice. It was good. It was a good time. Davis took all my chips at the end. So
good job.
Yeah, good job. Also, just wanted to give a quick shout out because we didn't shout out to those that helped us with the chip ups. So Dennis and Lydell and DeAndre and Jen helping us with the chip ups. Thank you very much. And thank you to all of the dealers who made sure that they bought up all of the chip stacks during those breaks to make our chip up happen very quickly and very easily. Last thing about...
We won't forget the set up crew and the tear down crew.
Oh yeah, and between the mines...
the
Jelinek, the Clarks,
Justin.
The list goes.
So many, and then a whole bunch of people who offered, but it was already done. Yeah, so thanks for offering.
Thank you to all of you with that.
Deb came right.
Oh yeah. Then Scott and Eric, thank you for making the run out here to Mad Poker Central when some of the main event gear got delivered early, and you guys were able to run out here, grab the stuff, and throw it in the Mad Poker garage. So we appreciate that. Next piece of business.
Go ahead.
Just jump around.
I can't read his handwriting very well, so.
It's really bad.
Okay.
So let's just jump around next week. Next week is the Big Brag. That is at 10 o'clock on Saturday at Ponderosa Lounge, which means there's going to be no Ponderosa Lounge game next week for the regulars. So plenty of other games, though. There's 7 other games on Saturdays.
There's like 20.
It could be.
Oh, wait, that's Sunday.
That's true. So for those that qualified for the Big Brag, looking forward to seeing you there. Be there at 9:30 at the latest. Game will start at 10 o'clock sharp. About 56, 54... 52 players, whatever it is. It's like a full deck. Next up, Poker Bros. So there is a 50-chip game at 3 o'clock today. If you have not qualified during the past 2 weeks for satelliting in, it is a 50-chip tournament. I think there's 13, 14 people already into it, so look forward to that.
15 right now.
15 right now?
13.
13.
Yep.
Okay. Moving to the next piece.
If you guys have any questions while we're talking, just put them in the comment section because I'm monitoring it, and we'll get to those for you.
Walt had a question. Walt Gamble.
Oh, questions from this week?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Walt wanted to know what's the one thing that a duffer can do to improve their game.
Well, what's a duffer?
That's a golf term.
Mm-hmm.
That's
it really is.
Yeah, because
I'm like, are we playing golf today? What's happening?
Being a full-on duffer, I know what that means. It's the newbies. What can a newbie do? What can to improve their game? What do you think?
Mm-hmm. I have my own opinions, and they differ vastly from yours.
Well, you don't even know my opinions yet.
Yeah, you started to say it, and I was like, oh yeah, I know what you're going to say.
Blah, blah, blah.
So yeah. So Walt, thank you for the question. And what I have done in the past is I've chosen a weekly game, and I decided this game I'm going to play like X. Like I'm going to call every hand pre-flop and see how that goes, because I know there's people that we play with that do that. They'll play any 2 cards as long as it's before the break. They play every hand, and I'm like, how do they even do that? Because I'm not lucky like that. So just see how that goes, see how it feels. So in that same field, or the vision that I have is that I can test everything in a Mad Poker game when it's free, and then whatever seems to work for me, or I'm like, oh, I feel like I can hone in on that particular thing. Like, I don't know what it is. Every time I'm on the button, I raise whatever, 3x. And I just do that for an entire game and get a feel for what that feels like, and then can I incorporate that into my game when I'm playing for money? And that really helped, because I got beat up by calling every hand pre-flop until the break, and I had pretty much nothing left, because you might hit a little bit of something, but you shouldn't be there in the first place. What are you doing with that?
Right.
But anyway, so it felt very uncomfortable. So it's like, oh, guess what? That doesn't work for me. But things that felt comfortable, it's like I need to then start studying on it and practicing more, and then that improved my game. So
Number one thing a duffer can do to improve their game is to stop playing hands. The exact opposite of what Marianne is saying. Mm-hmm. Follow, as a brand new player, play your top 10 hands, and that's it. Play pocket pairs, 6s and up, and play any 2 face cards, and that's it. We were talking about an 80-20 rule earlier today, and the 80-20 rule in business is that 80% of your business is done by 20% of your customers. And that's very similar that, Marianne, I didn't know it, but she said that she was reading that 80-20 rule actually lives in poker as well.
Right.
And I started thinking about it. I was like, man, 80% of the hands that I get dealt, I toss away. So I'm only playing 20% of the hands. So it's a very boring game. Boring from a perspective of you're not always going to be in a hand. You should always be looking at the game and watching people and trying to learn what other people are doing. But my number one thing to improve your game is to play less hands. Don't play garbage hands. Play good hands in good positions. That's what I would say.
Right, and that's really for like a beginner player. But if you're an intermediate player, I would encourage you to try trying new things and doing that at a free poker game.
Totally.
The 80-20 rule with regards to poker, it means roughly 80% of your profits come from 20% of your hands, opponents, and key decisions, guiding you to focus on the most impactful areas of the game. So 20% of your hands, such as premium pocket pairs, or big aces, or suited connectors, generate roughly 80% of your winnings. Your opponents, around 20% of the players at the table, often like rec players or weaker players, account for most of your profit, which is great. So effort and study, focusing on the 20% of concepts that matter most, like position, hand selection, and pot odds, yields the majority of improvement in your game. So that rolls into the whole, how do you improve your game? 80-20.
I really like that idea, though, that you have of trying new things and trying them out at the Mad Poker games. Mm-hmm. Best way to learn is to try something and to try and build muscle memory.
Right, and this is not like at the end of a quarter when you're, neck and neck.
Struggling for points.
When you do that.
No. Do it the first time.
Do it at one of your games that you're like not going for a venue win or, whatever. Yeah, exactly.
Don't get crazy where you want to be winning.
Yeah. But if you do Google the 80-20 rule poker, 80-20 rule poker, it will give you a nice long read, but really some really nice little clues. So I can copy paste that into the comment section of this live later for you guys to look at, or go ahead and look it up yourself because I think it's super valuable. Next.
So, one last thing, I guess, on 80-20. So when I was 20 years old, there's an 80% chance that I was drinking at a bar called The Loft back in 1989, 1990. So this is the oldest coffee. Yeah, it's right into the coffee mug.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the oldest coffee mug in my collection, and I used to have quite a bit of good times there at the Loft. They had a was it Monday nights, no, Tuesday nights. It was a $2 pizza night. Big old 16-inch pizza. You could only get it with pepperoni, but it was $2.
$2 chuck.
$2 chuck. And they were quite a bit of ways away. They were walking distance off of campus, but we would place. You couldn't make a phone order; you had to order it there. So we would get one guy from the Manchester Hall to take the walk over there, maybe two guys, and we'd give them like $30, and they'd walk all the way there, order the pizza, walk back with 15, 16 pizzas on a Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday night. But anyhow, Loft Bar, I think it's still there. It's in downtown Kent. If you're ever in Kent, go to the Loft and let them know that I got their coffee mug. Anyhow, I love
Great
it.
story. Good times.
Shush. You went to the Loft.
I did. Well, I went by it.
You drive by.
DeAndre, thank you for posting the 80-20 rule for me. That saved me some time. So
Dude.
that's in the comment section right now if you guys want to read about it. He also wrote, because we're going to read his next anyway, he also wrote, calling in the dark and raising pre-flop on the button before the first break to see how it feels. That's right.
Yeah, that's kind of fun.
Calling in the dark is great.
It's a cute game.
Super fun. Right. But it's not a game. And here's why it's not a game.
Okay.
Because you should be able to play poker with never looking at your cards. Because you should be playing position, aggression, your opponent. I mean, you're going to get a read on your opponent when you start making the bets. And then you can go from there. It doesn't mean you're going to win by playing no peeky.
Sure.
You can.
Right. Yes, you can.
Yes.
Yes,
And
you
it doesn't
can.
mean you're a bad player for doing it either.
You said we were going to talk about DeAndre. Which one is the DeAndre? Is it the big blind ante?
Yeah.
Okay, so DeAndre asked for what are the pros and cons of having the big blind ante. And before we can even start talking about our pros and cons, who was it that made the message? Is it Mr. King?
Yeah. Charles King.
So Charles said that he's in favor of the big blind ante if it was uniform across all of the Mad Poker games and not just at the quarterlies and at the main. And I understand that. I'm a big fan of the big blind ante just because I like the fact that it forces people to play.
Right. You can't just fold your way to the final table.
Right.
But
from a business perspective and from a fun perspective for what the league is all about.
and the partnership with the bars that we're in, the business model is that we're there for a certain period of time.
Right. So putting in that big blind ante during our nightly games, well, it would actually shorten the total number of hours that we're in the bar.
Right.
And that's not what we're there for in the bars. We're there to be there for a couple, 3 hours, have fun with friends, drink some drinks, eat some food, play some cards with friends, develop relationships. We're not there to try and get in, get it done, get back out. You know, that's not it. So the
And
reason
that's what could potentially happen.
it could happen that way.
It doesn't necessarily happen that way.
Right. And the reason why we decided to implement it at the quarterlies in the main is twofold. Number one, because you see that in the real world of poker all the time. You see the big blind ante. It happens. We want people to be prepared and ready for that.
Right, so when you go to a poker room and you're like, what's this? No, you always want to act like you've been there before, even if you haven't. So we'll help you
Right.
with that.
But the other part is if you're at the Pondo, if you've watched any of the Pondo broadcasts from years gone by, before we were putting in the Big Blind Ante. By the time we were at the final table, the band was doing sound checks and getting ready to play. So we had to accommodate that for the band getting in there and letting Ponderosa get set up for their next event.
Right.
I mean,
and they literally, they'd have to lock the door so that nobody would come in. You know, other patrons would come in, but we're still in there playing, so we have to be out.
Yeah. So
It's respect.
that's that's part of the partnership. So that's why that happens. But thank you for the question, DeAndre. It's always good to talk about stuff.
Yeah, and we love the Big Blind Ante.
Yes.
We love the ante, whether it's the Big Blind format or not.
Yeah.
So, there's some more from DeAndre. He's also a big fan, and he says, I have a rule at my Monday game that if we don't get to the final table by the second break, we will go Big Blind Ante. And that's great, because you have to push that action.
Sure.
So,
You have to.
Go for it.
Let's see. Oh, congratulations here.
Oh, yeah.
So congratulations to Adam Natras for his super deep run. I think it was day 5 of the main event at the World Series of Poker. Was it day 4?
I think it was 4.
4 or 5. However,
But he cashed out for $50K.
Something
for
like that.
$10K.
Yeah. So that's Art's Art's son. So when you see Art, congratulate Adam through Art. Anytime you see him for the next week or so. Way to go, Art. Way to go, Adam.
Yeah. We're hoping to, someday soon, invite Adam to one of our games, probably the Moose game, because it's the largest, and do a Q&A session with him.
Yeah.
And just, you guys can pick his brain.
It'd be
You
cool.
can play poker with us and teach us something.
I can dig that. I don't have my.
Right?
Let's see. Check off the things we've done.
When... Okay, so this is
Yeah.
something that's occurred when we were at a game recently, and I realized that not everyone really knows the deal, because you could play in different leagues or home games. It's a different, house rule or whatever. But in Mad Poker and pretty much anywhere else, when's
the next hand
when
start?
does the next hand start for you? If you say, when the chips go out, you can't raise. If the blind change happens, you can't raise because my chips were already out. That's only true if the first shuffle was already in.
Yeah, so the next hand starts on the dealer riffle, not on the I got my blinds out there, so you can't raise the blinds on us.
Right. I mean, and the riffle. I mean, it could be like the beginning of the wash, but it's the manipulation of the deck to start the next hand is the
Official
next
start.
hand.
Yep.
Right. So we should be doing that across the board. If that's happening anywhere that you're playing, and you hear this, you might just want to mention it.
Remind them.
It's not a big deal, but I mean,
Consistency is key.
exactly. And again, if you go to a poker room and you try to say that, you're going to be laughed at.
Yeah.
So.
We have 2 last things.
Mhm.
So I have no idea what this one is. There was
Okay, so I'll just do it. So I was personally approached about a poker school request. If this is a new player, new for us player, but maybe newer to poker as well. And they were interested in a one-on-one or a small group session about basics of poker. And she even offered to pay for it, which we would never accept payment for that, but we'd be willing to do something maybe online, like a Zoom meeting, and do some practicalities of poker with you. Or, if it's convenient, come over here, we can meet somewhere, and we could go through what you need to learn.
maybe a monthly pregame.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Pregame is very hectic for dealers or directors, right?
Well, where we would go and it would be our game.
Oh, okay, someone else's game.
Yeah, go to someone else's game
Right.
and do a pregame at their game.
Yeah.
Once a month.
But something. We're willing to talk about it, and
Yeah.
we're definitely willing to go through it with you. It'd be fun. So is anybody else interested in that? Because if so, I would much rather do a group of people who have their own unique questions that someone else might not think about, they brought it up. Oh, that's a good question, and now they're learning even more than they thought they were going to learn.
For
right?
sure. Yeah.
So we're willing to do that. Maybe max 8
Yeah. Reach out.
at a time.
Our numbers are available.
Yep.
Or
It's
just
on the website.
comment on the Facebook feed or on the YouTube.
Oh yeah, on the YouTube as well.
On the YouTube. So again, it's Mad Poker
Day 5, 40K.
Day 5, 40K. Super.
I thought he cashed out for 50 and it was a 40K up, right?
Something.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
This is going to be saved on YouTube, Mad Poker 2015, for the YouTube part.
yep.
And then, so yesterday,
Is it 40K?
was it 40? All right. So Table Talk.
Okay,
Table
fine.
Talk was a huge thing during the TDA conference
Tournament Directors
association, which was
Summit.
a couple weeks ago, and it's all based about what Table Talk is and what you can and can't say. It's all about Rule 67 of the TDA rule, which is titled No Disclosure, One Player to a Hand. The 3 bullet points on that, and then we'll start talking about maybe the history and all that other junk.
Yeah.
Players cannot, while live in a hand or not active in a hand, discuss the content of a live or a mucked hand. Players may not advise or criticize play at any time. And players may not read a hand that has not already been tabled.
Well, so David, what does that mean?
I don't know.
So what is read a hand that hasn't been tabled?
All right, so I'm in a hand, and I'm looking at it, and we're at showdown time, and I show it to you. And I go to fold, and you say, hey, you've got a straight. Oh, I got a straight, and I can show. You're not supposed to tell me what to do. It's a one player to a hand rule.
So does it also mean, so say you and someone else, you and DeAndre are in a hand together, and
Okay.
I'm across the table, and it's almost done, or it's just about done, and the call's been made, and I say, David's got pocket aces. Is that the same thing? Am I reading your hand? Am I in penalty?
Is that
for doing
before I turned over?
Before you turned over, but after all the action has been
All the
completed.
action done, and so you're just guessing what I have?
Correct.
Oh, that's totally okay.
Okay.
You can do that.
All right.
I mean, you'll be right, because I only played
Only aces.
Only
Oh,
aces.
well, that's why I said it, obviously.
That's a duh.
Right?
So, the whole reason why all this came up
Yeah.
goes backwards. It's not just currently with Martin Cabral this year or last year, or Will Kassouf last year, the year before. It actually goes all the way back. Yeah, all the way back to Jamie Gold, 2016.
Long time ago, Jamie Gold, World Series of Poker winner.
He was. Yeah, he was definitely. He was very, very vocal. He used lots of speech play and routinely would say exactly what he had in his hand. He wasn't disguising what he had. Oh, you know what? I've got 2 pair. There's no way that I don't have 2 pair. You should definitely fold. I've got 2 pair. And then he'd show the exact hand that he said he had, 2 pair. So that started this whole ball of wax about what you can and can't say at the table and discussing the content of a live or mucked hand. Now, by the strictest definition of what that rule says, pretty much you can't say anything about your hand or their hand, or even think about out loud ranges of that hand, what could be played. That's by the strictest rule of it. And I'm personally not a fan of that remotely. As well as Dana Negreanu, completely against it as well. I was reading a blog of his from years ago, in between the 2016 and Will Kassouf time frame, back when he was doing actual blogging with a B and not vlogging with a V. And he went through a good, probably 10, 12 scrolls on the screen about how Matt Savage has got this wrong, and talking about stuff is tantamount to poker, but not telling people what you have, but mentioning things like ranges. And there's no way that I could ever call this type of hand if I didn't have jacks or better.
Right. And don't you feel like part of the table talk is getting read on somebody? I mean, you're trying to extract information from them, and poker is never just all about cards. It's about people.
Right.
I mean, what would Robin Grimm do if someone said, "You got to shut your mouth"?
Right.
Because she doesn't know how to do that. But
It's her game.
Exactly, and that's why she's so good, right? Because she knows how to run her mouth and, you know, put you off your game a little bit, or make you feel a little bit too comfortable with her. Maybe I'm going to soft play now because we're friends.
Right.
Yeah. She's an expert at it.
Yeah.
So take that away.
That's part of the game.
It's terrible.
But DeAndre tried to call me out on it while he was dealing. We were down like 3-4 tables, and I was just verbally thinking out loud. Is there any chance that this person could have made this bet pre-flop without an ace? And I just said those words. And DeAndre, you can't say that. From a most technical perspective, he's absolutely right. But from and we haven't really discussed where we're going to land on this.
Right. Well, you weren't asking him. You were talking. Right. You were speaking to yourself.
It was self-talk.
Out loud. So
However,
there's a line.
However, I'm also watching that person while I'm talking.
Right.
So I'm, if they're listening to me and they're reacting to what I'm saying, but I'm not talking to them, it's a really nebulous area. I still think it's nebulous, and it's definitely not being applied uniformly at the World Series of Poker, for certain. Otherwise, you wouldn't be seeing Cabral on all of your feeds, because that guy can't. What he's saying, by the most technical definition, can't be doing it. So but one of the other things they were talking about was.
But in your opinion, is it good for the game?
Yeah.
Or do you think it's bad for the game?
Let us know.
To be able to talk about it.
Because this is a partnership.
And just table talk in general.
Yeah, but it's the partnership between Mad Poker and the players. We want the community to really come down to help us land on where we should draw the line.
Yeah, something we learned today when we were in part of the 6-hour session, the TDA thing we were in, was that different tournament directors were, well, here we do this, and the other person said, well, here we do that because it's like a guideline instead of a strict law. And I was like, what? I thought these were rules that we had to go by, but there's room for interpretation. Yeah. Somewhat. And they are going to close the loop on some things that we're just like going back and forth on it. We're like, how is this not just cut and dried? And we'll go over that one later because it's still in progress. But I'm heated over it.
That's the last aggressor rule?
Yeah. So it's just basically I open, you raise, I call, and then the flop, turn, river roll checks.
No bets at all.
So the last person to act checked, and so the button.
So
whoever the other person is, not the button, reveals, and.
See, this is where I still get confused. Because I thought it was the button revealed.
Or the button revealed
revealed out of turn.
Out of turn, right.
And so the person in first act mucked, and the button requested to see the mucked hand because they had a right to see it.
Because they were last to act.
And
so they should have opened first, right? That's how we all know it, right?
Right. You follow the order of procedure. When it gets down to the river, if there's been no betting, it has to be, you have to show in the order of who would have had to bet first.
Right. And even if there was betting, same thing.
Yeah.
And we talked about it before. We're like, remember, if you have the good hand, make them show first because you have a right to see their cards. Well, guess what?
There's half, it was split right down the middle. Half of the room of the TDA conference said that everybody should be able to see every hand, and the other half said only the callers of the
Like, you know, because you paid to see.
only the callers
Right.
to the aggressive were able to see. So they went on for quite some time, and I don't think that they landed on a final answer.
It's not, well, it's written a certain way, right? And so they have been interpreting it and applying it differently. And they said, all of us are doing it. That's what the rule is. And the person pointed out, this is how it's written, and
You're
that
doing
is
it wrong.
not what you're doing. And what they are doing is that anybody with a live hand at Showdown has a right to see any hand that was part of the Showdown.
As long as
So-
that person still has their cards.
Well, not necessarily. They're live. So it's a showdown for a reason. So back in the olden days, it used to be when you got to showdown, it was you showed down your cards. That's what they
Everybody
called
had
it.
to.
So everybody had to show it. Well, then that just kind of got consolidated into a little bit less because it got to be a whole lot. But you still have a right to see. And I can't even believe that. But yeah, so like if you slide your cards here and you like you muck or whatever, and someone says, I want to see those, I have a right to see those, they do. And that's nuts.
I don't.
That's nuts. And it's all because of collusion.
Right.
So it's all to protect against collusion. And there was...
And the integrity of the game,
Well,
I get
let's
that.
talk about that hand that happened, right? Where there was and I think we might have talked about it last week, where there was a flush on the board and neither player, there were two in the hand, had a flush, but this guy had a set of queens. And so he flipped over, and the guy saw you said, and he said, oh, you have a set of queens or whatever. And he says, I fold, and he mucked it, but you can't act again. Once you've checked, you're at showdown. So he didn't fold at all. He just mucked difference. And all the players were like, well, hold on, that's a split pot. And the guy who folded said, oh no, I made the mistake, give him the pot. And the TDA people were saying,
They would have pulled
you
it back out.
award that pot correctly. The person or people who have won a pot should be awarded the pot. It doesn't matter. And this whole thing, it touched the muck pile and all that.
They didn't
Wow.
care. They were like,
It's gone. It's out the window. Because they were at showdown, and they both had a flush on the board.
yeah.
And of course, it's always going to behoove you to turn your cards over because you might not have realized that ace of hearts was really ace of diamonds, and you really do have the nut flush. So I mean, come on. But he thought he wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
He didn't see. But
And
it
so
doesn't matter.
So
The
he
cards
wanted to.
talk.
It's true. That was a crazy hand.
Dealers need to be really careful. And I got out of it a lot that the dealers don't have a lot of a voice, or they don't use their voice very much. I don't know. It makes me rethink my dealing a little bit.
Sure.
So,
Part of that other
protecting the
discussion,
players.
back to what the dealers can and can't do. The TDA conversation was, what words should the dealer use when those hands get turned over? Should they announce he plays the board, or should they have announced flush? Big difference between those two. Because if, as a dealer, I say he plays the board, the next person to act then in their brain starts spinning up, do I play the board too? Whereas if the dealer just announces flush or queen high flush, it's a different move that the next player goes with. Oh, well, I can't beat a flush. Because he wasn't paying attention to the board. So it was really great stuff. It was day one of the video, starts off at about an hour 45 minutes in. Anyhow.
And really, the dealers, they usually don't speak. So if it's the board, they push all 5 cards forward.
Sure.
You know, they don't say board, they just go, and then you go, oh, that's all 5 cards on the board, right?
A lot more video.
We
as
will
the,
say board or, flush or whatever. But the WSOP people generally don't talk a lot.
No.
So, anyway, a lot to absorb, and I can't wait to see where they land on those certain things, because, boy, had we been in the room, I think we would have had some input on that. I do want to bring up the thing right before we came over here to video for you guys. They touched on something that hit a nerve with me.
Ooh.
And that was, the
Verbal abuse?
Yeah, this woman was talking about being abused as a woman at the table, and then just also men being abused at the table, just verbal abuse.
Right.
But specifically for her, because she was a woman as well as. But they got me to thinking, they're like, how do you determine what is, too much, too far, and who's saying it? And it felt like there was... some people are okay to get away with it, a kasoof and things like that. So where do you draw the line, and what is abuse, and things like that? And I got to thinking, we've had a lot of situations recently where we've had some trouble with some certain players, and some have been resolved fine, and others not so well. How would you feel if we implemented... If you know what a lammer is those clear
Plastic
chips,
acrylic.
plastic chips that go in between, like chips that
In the rack.
at a casino. So like there's 20 here, then there's a lammer, blah blah blah. Anyway, a lammer, if you're behaving poorly in the dealer's eye, or you sense there's something going on here, that you're tossed this lammer or whatever it is, and that's your warning. And it's a non-verbal warning. It's just you've received this lammer, and you're on warning for behavior. And if you receive a second lammer, then you're out for an orbit. And if you receive a third lammer in one game, you're gone from the game, and then we'll review what's going on with you for future, because we don't want things to escalate ever again that way. We understand that people are humans and personalities
And get heated.
chemistry and poker, for God's sake. But if there's a way to maybe kindly, gently, and not a big deal, like making a scene about it by tossing someone this indicator that you've got a warning or whatever. How would you guys feel about that? I mean, would you like that added to the game? It gives each dealer at every table the power to just do it and not have to call a director over and make a scene about it and maybe embarrass somebody. And maybe someone's doing something that's really out of character or not okay, and they don't really realize
What they're doing?
And this would be a calmer, gentler way to kind of give them a cue that maybe what you're doing isn't well received. What do you think?
Me?
Yeah. Because right now we can give you a 1 round. We can do that. We have the option of giving you a 1 round timeout.
But that's at the director level, not at the dealer level.
Correct.
I'm not a fan of giving the dealer that amount of power.
Mm-hmm.
But I am a fan of the dealer calling over the director as soon as they're seeing something, or even a player calling over a director if they're seeing abuse happen, if they're seeing people being jerkballs,
Or violent.
or
Or too drunk and disruptive of the game.
of getting the director involved immediately.
Yeah.
And shortening the exposure to that player, of all the players to that player, and they may not even know what they're doing. But get the director involved immediately. Let them come in and handle the situation. We trust our directors explicitly to make these things. I wouldn't want to put it on the dealer to do the lammer thing. But I could see it as a director, potential for a director to do that type of stuff. The you're on warning scenario. That's why we're asking you guys. Because we don't always agree. That's part of the joy of having had poker.
It's a committee.
Yeah.
But what we don't want to have happen, because there's been so many kind of in a row, we don't want our games to be uncomfortable for people.
Right.
And we don't want to hear when something has been resolved for finality resolution, is that I saw that coming a mile away.
Yeah.
That was written in the sand a long time ago.
Oh yeah, 2 months ago I knew about this. What?
We didn't know, or maybe we got a glimmer. We might have seen something, but had we heard it from 5 people, we would have said, "There's a big issue, and we need to go deal with it." And so, we want to protect you. We want to protect this company. It means a lot to us.
Protect the bars, protect the players, protect the directors, the whole thing. So it's cliche. See something, say something. You see something wrong, say something to the director. If you don't feel comfortable talking to that person directly, talking to the offender directly. Mm-hmm. Sometimes all it takes is one person to say, "Dude, quit being a jerk," and they'll stop. But if you never say, "Dude, quit being a jerk," they're going to continue to be a jerk.
Right.
If you don't feel comfortable telling them, you go to the director and say, "Dude's being a jerk." And the director will come over and say, "Dude, don't be a jerk."
Speaking of jerks.
Sweet. Who's on?
DeAndre just said, so there are jerks sometimes. Yes. Dealers who are doing this for free should not be going through things they go through sometimes.
Exactly.
Right. However, I can see some dealers doing things like giving someone a penalty just because they don't like someone.
Right.
Well, that's sad. But I will say that if they give them the first one, it's a warning. So at least they're letting the person know that some behavior isn't going right. And if they want to talk about it on break, that's a great conversation. Why are you doing this? Is this just because you don't like me? No, it's because you're doing X, Y, and Z, and they can explain it. And if they are doing it because they don't like him, well, now they're exposed. So, but at least a conversation is starting, and maybe we can be a happier group.
Let us know.
Not that we aren't, but
let
happier.
us know. Let us know. Let the directors know.
Right?
We'll have some good conversations, because that's really the best thing we can do is to talk about stuff and figure out, because we're all in this same world here every day trying to meander through life and figure out what's working best.
So we'll see you at the Big Rag next Saturday. Those who qualified, the regular Pondo game is canceled. Just reminder again. And then we are heads down and
3 weeks away from the main.
Heads down, and we'll just be preparing for the main event on August 2nd, Sunday at the Moose.
Yes.
We don't know yet if it's a cash only situation. It might be cash card situation, and we'll keep you updated on that.
Yeah, because they're going to open up the full lodge to us, not just the buddy bar. So I think I'll talk and find out. Yeah,
we'll find out. And then and if there's any particular cuisine you'd like to recommend for a group, let us know. I mean, we always say spaghetti meatballs, it's easy, but pulled pork or something. Anyway,
Taco Bell.
Let us know. If you're a genius at big crowds, give us some ideas that we can float to them. It doesn't mean it'll happen, but I'm sure they'd love some ideas.
Lots of brains.
Yeah, lots of brains. All right, he's got to play in a tournament that started a minute ago, and I'm going to listen to the TDA a little bit more. So thank you for joining us as always, and big balls.
Big balls.